Hey everyone, welcome to the Spring Framework Bootcamp. Okay, so in the last video we have studied complete bean scope with a great social media example. Okay, we have taken the Instagram example. So in that video we have seen what is bean scope and the problems, and then we have coded our basic social media example to overcome the problem using bean scope. Fine, we have completed the bean scope. Now the life cycle. In this video we're gonna see life cycle, like how life cycle is important in a real world project when it come to the database. Okay, our further topic. So let's start the life cycle. Okay, it's also a really interesting topic. Fine. And yes, before starting, I have already uploaded the assignments. Phase 1 assignments, bean scope assignments. 2 assignments uploaded, kindly do it. Both are connected. This event 1 and event 2. Okay, now let's start the video. Okay, so now let's see first what we're gonna cover in this video. Okay, what we're gonna see in this video. Fine. So the first thing is we're gonna see the theory and methods of life cycle. Okay, methods of bean life cycle and a basic theory you need to know. Fine. The second thing is the great real world example, so that it makes you understand that okay, life cycle methods are useful in these type of applications. Okay, see, this is only the flow of my videos, real world example, and then so that you'll get a clear cut understanding that okay, fine, that the concept is being used in these type of real world projects. Okay, and then the final thing is we're gonna code the bean lifecycle methods. We're gonna code it. Okay, so this will be the flow of the lifecycle, our today's lecture. So let's start it. Okay, now tell me, what do you mean by life cycle in a basic terminologies? What do you mean by life cycle? Simple. Suppose let me consider as a human 1 day life cycle. Human 1 day life cycle. What is it? We wake up. Okay, see, basic. We wake up, fine. We perform some task. Okay, either go to the job, go to the business, go to the office or school, college, whatever. Perform operations. And then at the night, we go to the bed. Fine, we'll sleep. So the basic, fine. Now, can I write it in a different way? Wake up, initialization, then performing operations, bean performing operations, object performing operations. Okay, just try to relate it, and then destroy. Right? Can I relate it like in the same way? Yes. So similar to the human, similar to we living being have a life cycle, beans also have a life cycle, and it is divided into a few stages. So what are the stages are? The first, instantiation, creation of bean, instantiation. Second, dependency injection, like whatever dependency we have, we need to inject it. Okay, if you want to inject some dependency, then we can inject the dependencies. Fine. Third thing, performing some operations. Okay, performing some operation on objects, on a beans, whatever. Fine. Last thing is, you very well know, destruction. At the end, destroy the object, closing the resources. Fine. Now let's see the two important methods which bean lifecycle has given to us, so that we can use those methods in a real world projects. Okay, so the methods of bean lifecycle. First, init. init method. Second is destroy method. As the name suggesting init, that means initialization. So init method is called just after bean is created. Okay, and the real world example is completely depend on these two methods. Okay, so init method is called just after bean is created. Fine. And destroy method is called just before bean is destroyed. Just before bean is destroyed, to close the resources, to close all the resources. Fine. Suppose when you go to the bank ATM, you take out the money and then you press the cancel button. Okay, so that the next user will not try to trick your bank account details. So you will close the resources. Okay, and that is what your program should do. You should close the resources. Fine. Okay. See, I'm telling you, you are heading to the real world example. Okay. So this is what about all about theory. Fine. This is done. A basic theory and the methods of a bean life cycle. Now the next real world example. Real world example. Fine. Please be focused here. I want your focus to be here. Okay. Fine. Now suppose you have built an application. You have built an application which is showing the user details. Okay, so the functionality of your application is there is one text field and there is one button, submit button. Okay, and it is of name text field. Suppose user will enter his or her name here in the text field, and on clicking on the submit button, you are displaying the user details in the browser. Fine, this is your application. Now one thing, you are displaying the user details on writing the username. That means these user details are coming from definitely the database. Definitely, because you are displaying, suppose tomorrow or day after tomorrow, whenever user will enter, you are displaying the details. That means you have already saved the user detail into the database. So from there you are populating and displaying. Simple. And if you don't know database, don't worry. This is our next phase topic. Don't worry. I told you don't worry. Okay, fine. So this is what your application is doing. Now to achieve this, there are two ways. Two ways. Okay. The first way is when user will enter the name. Okay, and when click on the submit button. So after clicking on the submit button, you are making connection to the database. After clicking on the submit button, you are making connection to the database, and then you are running the query and populating the data. Simple. Second way, when user load your application. So at the loading time, you have made the connection to the database. Okay, now the connection already been made. Okay, now when user will write his or her name, click on the submit button. Immediately the query you have written, that query will populating the data and showing it to the database. Tell me which one you would prefer, 1 or 2? Definitely 2. It is a fast. User should not have to wait. See, this is a small application. There are millions of records in your database. Then to populate that, At the runtime, if you are making the connection to the database, it is a bad application. It is a worst application. Okay, because user hates to wait. User don't want to wait to anyone. Okay, in that case, init method is useful. Just after bean is created, when your application loaded, Spring will create the bean prior. Just after bean is created, before user is making some operations. Okay, see here. Yeah, here, human one day life example. When you wake up and before performing some operations, your database connection has already been made. So that when you're performing some operations and you need database, immediately you will fetch and perform your task. Rather than wake up, okay, performing some task, and then you are making some connection to the database and then reverting back. So it takes time because database is a third party. To connect one party to third party, it takes time. So that init method, what is init method is doing? It is calling just after bean is created. That means if we write the connection configuration in the init method, so the init method will load and will make a connection before user is making the operations. Hope you'll get the clear cut understanding of init and destroy method and why bean lifecycle is important. Okay, the remaining thing is code. Let's code it. Okay, fine. Yeah, so this is the last example we have seen, our social media example. Fine. And let me just run it. So it is asking my username and it is asking me like, okay, choose from below that you want to create a post or see all your post. So one, that is I want to create a post and whatever, like first post. Okay, first post, and then see all post. So you can see first post is displaying. There is only one post. Fine. Now I have to use I have to use the bean lifecycle here. That I want to make some configuration before user will make the operations, and then I will destroy the resources after bean got destroyed. So let's start. Okay, so let me just terminate it. Now how you will start? See, you need to make configurations of a init method and a destroy method. Where we will make the configurations? In the configuration file. Where is configuration file? Like what is configuration file? Application context.xml. Where it is present? In the src main resources. Okay, fine. Now see, there are three beans: post, post list and user bean. Suppose I want that when the user bean created, see, when we run the application, Spring will scan this file and it will create a bean. So when user bean will created, I want some operations. So in the user bean, there is one attribute init method and the init method name. Okay, so you want something when the user bean is created. Where is the user bean class? Simple user. Here you will create one method, public void init, and then inside it let me write some SOP statement that database operation success. Okay, so prior you have made the database operation successful, like you have made the connection. So database connection okay, fine. Okay, now the method name init, copy this and then paste here the method name. Fine, done. Now let me run it. Can I run? See here, database connection success. Okay, this will be your application, and it should look like the database connection got successful. Now suppose I want to make some operation on database. It's very fast because connection already been done, rather than when someone will make the operation and then connection will done. So it will take time. Just understand it, it's the most important, because in further in the millions of record it will take a seconds of time, and the 1 second time is a huge for computer. Okay, so this is what the init method use. Now let's see the destroy method. See, suppose after I have done all my thing, I need to close the database connection. Okay, so I need to make some changes in the code. See here, initially I am asking user, here enter username, and I'm asking that okay, choose from below. One, create a post, or see all your post. Let me write one more option. Third option, that is exit. Fine. Okay, so case 1, that is create post. Case 2, that is see all your post. And case 3, that is exit. Okay, so I need to exit. That means I need to destroy the bean. How to destroy the bean? Close the application context. Application context dot close. Fine. Okay. When the application context is open, that means your application is ready to use. Make the operations, make the transactions. Okay. But if you'll close the application context only, that means beans has been closed. Okay, now your application has been closed, so you are safe. That's why it is a good practice to close the resources for a security purpose. Okay, fine, we have done here. Now in the application configuration, let's make the configuration for destroy. Same thing, init method, same thing, destroy method, and the method name. So method name, first let's create a method. So here only we'll create a method, public void destroy, and sys out closed all the resources. Fine. And then the method is destroy, so destroy. Now let me run the application. Okay, so Java application, yeah, and you can see after it I'm not able to make the operations, I'm not able to make the changes or use my application. See here, initially database connection successful. Fine, I'm using my application. Create a post, choose from below, create a post, see all your post, or exit. I want to create a post. 1, write any post name, first post. Again, choose from below, create a post, see all your post, or exit. Again I want to create a post. Second post. Okay, now I want to see all my post. 2. So first post and second post. These are 2 posts I have posted. Now I want to exit. 3. See, closed all the resources. The message we've written. Now again I want to try to create the post. 1. See, the bean factory is not initialized or already closed. The application has been closed. So it is a good practice. That is why the importance of init and destroy and the life cycle. Okay, so this is what about bean scope life cycle. Try it, practice it. Okay, and if you enjoy the video, I hope you'll get a clear-cut understanding. If you enjoy the video, then please subscribe and please comment down that how you are feeling. Okay, And also comment down that okay, if you want something like okay, my teaching speed is fast or slow, whatever, just comment down. Okay, so now in the next we're gonna start. Okay, I think I've just shut it down. Okay, fine. So in the next we're gonna start the Spring annotations. This the use of Spring Boot application annotations. Okay, and we're gonna replace application context.xml. We're not gonna create it. We're gonna delete it. Okay. So in the next video, next is just interesting video. Fine. So I hope you will get to enjoy. I hope you will enjoy the video. And yes, till then, goodbye and thank you.